Hey y'all, it's your girl Missniecytv, and I'm here to do a review for Zatima Season 3, Episode 7. The episode picks up where left off with Zach going to confront Fatima about what Jeremiah did to her. And as he's on his way to go confront her, he sees Belinda and Belinda trying to speak. And Connie's like, what happened? Tony and Nate are following Zach, and Tony goes, Nate told him. And Belinda's like, yeah, you should have told him. There's absolutely no reason that Belinda should be this messy, but when Zach finally reaches the point where he sees Fatima, he asked her, Fatima, I'm going to ask you this one time. Did Jeremiah hit you? Fatima says no. He's like, did he push you? Fatima doesn't say nothing. Zach is like, you lying. Fatima's all like, can we talk about this at home? Can we talk about this at home? And Nate is like, well, I already told him the facts, so you might as well tell him the truth. Fatima's like, can we talk about this at home? Zach is like, why? Fatima's like, I don't want them all in our business. Zach had said the same thing we always said. They're always in your business, so what's the difference now? Zach is like, everybody else knows, but I'm in the dark. Fatima's like, can we just talk about this at home? Zach is like, when did this happen? Tony is like, can we just go home and talk about this? Zach is like, no, Tony, you had your chance. Nate, when did this happen? Nate is like, a few days ago. Zach is like, y'all knew for a few days and decided not to tell me. Zach walks away and he speeds off in his car. Connie is like, go after him. Tony is like, I parked all the way down the street. Connie is like, I don't care, run. Nate is like, I'm coming too. Fatima's like, no, you're not. Fatima's like, Nate, why'd you do that? Nate is like, you see how mad he is? I was only doing the same thing that I will want him to do for me. Fatima's like, do you have a record? Nate is like, I actually do. Why? Fatima's like, so that was your best friend? You're dumber than I thought. Connie is like, do you have a brother that's on that stuff? Nate is like, you know I don't. We can't keep that type of stuff from him, so I had to tell him. Fatima's like, well, it wasn't your place. Fatima's like, I know you're not going to visit him in jail. Nate is like, how you know that? Nate is constantly apologizing, and Fatima's like, you always in something. You always doing something. Connie asks Fatima where she's going. She's like, I'm going to find Zach. Connie's like, I'm coming too. Fatima's hesitant at first, but then she decides to let Connie come. After the conversation with Fatima, we see Nate starting to feel really bad, and Belinda's being messy, and she's like, no, you shouldn't feel bad because you did the right thing. Nate is like, he's going to kill Jeremiah. He's like, we gotta do something. Belinda's like, we can't do nothing. His family's already messed up, so he's like, we gotta do something. Over at Angela's, we see her talking to Bryce about their friendship and how they want to try the whole friendship thing. And well, Angela's like, since we're friends now, I'ma still need you to tell me about what happened with the car. Bryce is like, that was just an accident. Angela's like, you sure? Bryce is like, you're my friend, so of course I would tell you the truth. I don't understand why Bryce is still trying to push this issue of Zach talking to him. Zach literally told him I forgive you in the hospital, so why are you trying to push this? He could forgive you, but still not talk to you. Belinda then decides to open her mouth and say something. You should go sit at Zach's house so he can be forced to talk to you. Angela, may I ask why you're trying to force this situation? Zach is not to the point where he could just be friends with Bryce, and I don't think it will ever be. The only reason that Zach is even talking to Bryce right now is because Preston bailed him out with the money situation, and during this conversation, Bryce realizes that Andrew's trying to rush it, and Bryce is like, let me guess, you got one of your boy toys coming over. Angela's like, matter of fact, I do. Sean, I don't know if they're trying to paint Bryce to be Angela's gay best friend, because then he starts talking about how fine Sean is and all this other stuff, and Angela's like, it's too soon. Then Sean knocks on the door, and he's like, I see you got company. Angela's like, Bryce was just leaving. He's like, you at the hospital already? Angela tells Bryce that he doesn't have to talk about that, and Bryce is like, no, it's fine. Angela reiterates to Bryce that he has to leave, so once Bryce leaves, Angela's like, let's go, Sean. Sean is like, where are we going? Angela's like, where we always go. Sean is like, can I get something to eat first? Angela's like, you think this is soup kitchen? Over at Zach and Fatima's, we see Preston still sitting outside in his car waiting for Zach, and he decides to call Zach to let him know that he's outside so that they can sign a contract. Of course, Zach is not going to answer his phone right now with everything that he has going on, but my thing, Preston, is since this is a business ordeal, why didn't you go to his office? That would be the professional thing to do. While Preston is waiting outside for Zach in his car, Deja decides to come outside with a drink, and she's like, so you still waiting? Did you call him? Preston's like, yeah, I did, but I'm good on the drink, though. Deja's like, so you don't want to cool off? Preston's like, yeah, I do, but I have a cooler in the back of my trunk. Deja's like, so you come well prepared. I like a man who's well prepared. Do you have condoms on you? Preston's like, Deja, let me ask you something. Do you always talk like this when you're alone? Deja's like, why would I talk to my Preston's like, so why are you talking to me like that? Preston's like, you have everything you need and you don't always have to be over-sexual. I think you're using that as a way to hide who you really are. Deja deflects from the conversation and she's like, well, I bought you a drink. You said you wanted a woman that was old-fashioned, so I'm trying to be old-fashioned. Preston's like, are you really? Deja's like, yeah. That's when Bryce walks up out of nowhere and he's like, hi, Deja. Deja's like, hi, Bryce. Preston's like, Deja was just going back in our house. Deja's like, so it's like that? Preston's like, yeah. Deja's like, Bryce, can you move your car because I'm having a party tonight? Once Deja leaves, Bryce is like, it looks like she hasn't had sex in a while. Preston's like, sex is definitely what she's having. Bryce is like, it looks like whatever she's given comes with a cost. Preston's like, you don't even know the half of it. They start going into the business conversation, and Bryce is like, Zach is not answering my calls. Preston's like, well, you should have told him what you... Bryce is like, from now on, I definitely will. Preston's like, I know you will with me involved. Preston's like, are you okay with the 33%? Bryce is like, yeah, and I just want to thank you for bailing us out. Preston's like, it's no problem. Bryce is like, I didn't even know you had that type of money. Preston's like, that's what they all say. The conversation gets really weird because Bryce asks, do you mind if I wait here with you? Preston's like, it's no problem. Then they're sitting there trying to force the conversation. Then we see Connie and Fatima having a conversation with Tony on the phone, and Connie's like, have you found Zach yet? Tony's like, no, but I'm working. Fatima's like, we really need to find Jeremiah though. Tony's like, I know. I could put Nate on that. Fatima's like, I don't know about that because Nate'll be the one to open his mouth and tell Zach where he is. Tony's like, I know that Nate can't control his mouth sometimes, but I don't think he would do that. Fatima lets Tony know that she's tracking Zach's phone and she has his location, and she tells Tony the location, and he's like, I'll be there in a few minutes. Connie's like, if you see Jeremiah. Then we see Connie having a real heart-to-heart conversation with Fatima, and she's telling Fatima that Zach really loves her because he lets her track his phone and how he's really grown up to be the man that he is now. How Fatima really helped him with that because Connie knows the whole version of him, and he's not the way that he used to be anymore, and he really grew up for her. And Fatima's like, well, he still has some things to undo. Connie is really starting to wear down Fatima because Fatima's like, you know what, Connie, you're a cool chick. Connie's like, I know I am. Fatima's like, I'm still watching though. Connie's like, that's okay, I am who I say I am. Fatima's like, you might not want to play with me, I come from a line of killers. Back over in the hood, Belinda and Nate spot Jeremiah, and they basically tell him, you gotta go cause Zach is looking for you. Jeremiah's basically like, he ain't gonna do nothing, that's my brother. Nate is like, you might not want to say that cause it's definitely on site. He's like, I got a plan, and Belinda's like, what? I don't even want him there. Nate is like, we gotta do something, we can't just leave him out. Zach and Tony basically have a conversation, and Tony's like, I'm sorry I didn't tell you. Zach is like, you know where Jeremiah at? Tony's like, I don't know, but you're not there. Zach is like, you want to make me feel better for not telling me? Tell me where Jeremiah is. Tony's like, I don't know. Tony's like, I know that he didn't hit her though. Zach is like, so you know what happened? Tony's like, I don't know what happened, but Fatima knows, and she should be the one to tell you. Zach is like, I'm not talking to her right now. I'm not talking to her until I mess him up. Tony's like, well, you know he has a problem, right? Zach is like, he's gonna have a bigger problem when I get my hands on him. Tony is like, look at your life and what you have to lose. You don't got nothing to lose. Because, like, Fatima is my life. Tony is like, I know that, but she was just doing this to protect you. Zach is like, lying to me is not protecting me. That's the same thing that Gladys used to do. And Tony's like, Fatima's not Gladys. Zach is like, I know that because Gladys is dead and don't bring my mama up. Zach is asking where Jeremiah is. Tony's like, I don't know. Then Tony decides to touch Zach, and Zach is like, don't touch me. Zach is like, you really want to do this right here? And that's when Fatima rolls up, and she's like, Zach. And Zach is like, so you telling her where we are now? And then he pulls out his phone, and he's like, so it's this. Tony is like, Zach, listen to her. And that's when Fatima's like, I'll tell you everything. And Zach is like, right now? You'll tell me right now. Then she goes into the story about everything that happened with Jeremiah. But she forgot one major part, that she got flung up against a car. Zach is like, are you bruised up? And Fatima looks up, and she's like, Zach is like, where are you bruised at, Fatima? And then Fatima looks up, and he's like, there, where all that makeup is. I was wondering why you had it on. Take the makeup off. Take the makeup off. Fatima's like, I'm not doing that. And Zach is like, so you expect me to go home after this? Fatima's like, wherever you go, I'm gonna follow you. Zach is like, good luck with that. So he takes out his phone, and he disables his location from sharing it with Fatima. Fatima's like, so you really gonna stop sharing your location? The crash out of Zach is not gonna be good for anybody, so everybody better duck, cause it's not. All of this could have been avoided if Fatima would have told the truth as soon as it happened and didn't let the lie linger on. But let me know what you guys think about the episode. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn on your bell notifications. Bye!